While it is unlikely, there is a chance that Ron DeSantis could be the GOP nominee for president in 2024 rather than Donald Trump. What would that look like against Joe Biden? So first off, Joe Biden would easily be able to win the West Coast, Hawaii, Illinois, and all these northeastern states without a doubt, including Maine's first district. Now Ron DeSantis would also be able to win a lot of states, and he would do pretty good in the Sun Belt. I'm debating on putting Florida in the safe column because he won it by 20% in the governor race, but that at the same time you have to consider that it's a governor race and this is a presidential race. But I still think he'd be able to get it within above 10%. But my margin for safe is 15%, so I'm going to leave it a little blank now. I almost also included District 2 of Nebraska in safe for Republicans. And then you also could make the argument for South Carolina and Alaska. But the thing is, in 2016, they weren't even safe for Donald Trump. 14.3 and 14.7. And if you consider that Ron DeSantis is just a more right-wing Donald Trump, I don't think he's going to do too good because last time, or in 2020, South Carolina voted for Trump by 12 points and Alaska only 10. So that could be an issue with Ron DeSantis winning them by a safe margin. So I'm not going to put them in the safe margin for now. And now we're going to be moving on to the likely states. These are the states that are still pretty much going to go for that candidate no matter what. And I was thinking about Colorado. I think looking at this, if it voted for Joe Biden by 13.5%, and that's a large change from 2016. Clinton only won it by 5%, and then Biden wins it by almost 14%. So I'm actually going to put it in the safe column for now. And then if we look at Minnesota, I believe it's 7.1%, and it only voted for Clinton by 2%. So I'm going to definitely put it in the likely column. I don't think it should go in the lean or safe because it's not there. And then another state I'm going to put is Maine at large, and I'm going to put New Hampshire, and then we could probably put Virginia in there too. But, there's a chance Ron DeSantis could do better, but I still think Virginia is going to be probably in the likely column. And now for Republicans, we're going to get Florida out of the way. It's definitely going to go for Ron DeSantis because if you look at the governor's race, he won it by 20%, and he's popular in Florida. And you also have to consider that, obviously Biden's going to, bring it down a little bit because, he's the incumbent president. And, a statewide election is pretty different from a national election. But Ron DeSantis should be easily able to win Florida again. And next one, South Carolina and Alaska. While they're going to be pretty close to safe, they're just not going to make it there. I got to switch to the president. While they're pretty safe, they're not going to make it to, the safe column. They're still going to be likely, Alaska and both of them actually almost made it in 2016, but, they're just not there. And the next thing I'm going to include is Texas. And, while it is shifting to the left pretty quickly, if you look at Donald Trump, he isn't the typical candidate in Texas. So when it went safe in 2012, it swung to the left by almost about, 7 points. 7 points it swung to the left. And then it continued shifting to the left and only voted for Trump by 5.6% in 2020. And considering Ron DeSantis is more right to Trump, it's going to probably follow the same path, but I still think Ron DeSantis can improve in Texas, so he should be able to pull it off. And then Iowa, it's going to vote about the same as it did in 2020. If you look at 2016, it voted by 9, and then if you look at 2020, it voted by 8. It's going to pretty much stay around the 8 to 9, margin. And then we also have Ohio. If we look at 2016, it voted by 8, and then in 2020, it voted by 8 as well. It's probably going to follow the same path. Ron DeSantis isn't that popular in the Rust Belt. He's pretty good in the Sun Belt, though. But I still don't think he's going to lose that much support in Iowa and Ohio. So now Ron DeSantis is at 218 electoral votes, and Joe Biden is at 225. There's 95 electoral votes left to grab for each candidate. So let's move on. We're not going to do the lean states. These are the states that are going to vote for Joe Biden by not as much. They're not a guarantee like the likely and safe states, but they're still probably they still might vote for him. So in this column we have a state like Michigan, Arizona. Hey guys, it's me from the future. I have to say real quick, when I put Arizona in the lean column, I wasn't thinking correctly. I was confused for a second. I thought I was on Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. So please excuse that. I do fix it later in the video. Just ignore Arizona for now. I move on with the predictions normally, like it's DeSantis versus Biden. I catch it on later, so sorry about that. And Nebraska's 2nd district, and I believe those are all the states I'm going to give to Joe Biden in the lean column. That puts him up to 252 electoral votes. And for Ron DeSantis, I'm only going to be giving him North Carolina and Maine's 2nd district. Because if you look at North Carolina, in 2016, it voted for Trump by 4, and then it went down to nearly pretty much 1%. I think Ron DeSantis, he's popular in this area of the South. He's going to be able to, improve on those margins and make it better. But it's still not going to be into the likely column just yet. I believe, given the years, it's going to become more competitive rather than more Republican. But, And for Joe Biden, I'm actually going to give him Pennsylvania as a lean state as well. And this pushes Joe Biden over to 271, which means in this scenario, Joe Biden would win the presidential election. But we still have some more states to fill out. The next state, we're going to do tilts now. These are states that vote for the candidate by less than 1%. I feel like Georgia is going to be in that column. And excuse me, I just now realized that I messed up in Arizona. I forgot I wasn't doing Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. I'm doing Ron DeSantis versus Joe Biden. So excuse that error. But anyway, I believe Ron DeSantis will be able to win Georgia by a tilt margin. And I think he can pull out in Nevada. But I also think Joe Biden can win Wisconsin by a tilt margin. And then Arizona, I accidentally gave it to Joe Biden earlier, but I think it's going to be probably a tilt state for Ron DeSantis. He's popular. He is popular in this area. He's a popular governor. He's probably one of the most popular governors in the country. But because he lacks the support in the Rust Belt, he's not going to be able to win, especially if the Democrats go hard on abortion issues. He's just not going to be able to win the Rust Belt. While he's not going to lose in the Republican states, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, he's going to struggle in these more swing states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I think no matter what, Michigan's pretty much bound to go Democrat in 2024. But yeah, this gives our total up to 268 for Ron DeSantis and 270 for Joe Biden. And let's go ahead and just make it easier to understand and see by making them all have no margins. So yeah, this is what I'm predicting for the 2024 election if Ron DeSantis were the GOP candidate, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's going to be Donald Trump. And I already have a video on what I think that election would look like. It will be down in the description below if you want to watch it. And yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree with the map. And yeah, please like and subscribe and hit the bell. It helps out a lot. And yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.